Go ahead with that, Yasmin. I seen that, Yasmin. Listen, I'm trying to get every piece of research I can give you. Hold up. I seen that, Yasmin. I caught you. I caught you. Tripping. Be right back. I caught you. Damon X, where you at? You want to come in tonight? Man, shout out to Damon X. I hope he have a light heart, man. I had to get that clip and get a joke off on him real quick. That was funny. That was funny. So, family, I'm sorry. I was here trying to get the last bit of research that I could get. That's it. I was getting the last bit of research. Like, let me tell you something. Let me tell you. I'm very passionate. You know what I'm talking about? Let me put some light. Hold up. So I put a little bit more light in here. I'm very passionate about research, right? I'm super, super passionate about research. I mean, like, you know, some people, they, some people, they like to play games. Some people like to read books. You know what I'm saying? But I am very, very passionate about research. I don't know, it just does something to me. Just to know things that I didn't know. And so a lot of things that I research, that's why I was talking. Nah. A lot of things that I didn't know, I may know a little bit about something, right? But the moment that I get to digging into the research, oh man, the skill that it takes a good researcher is so rewarding. But the skill that it takes is critical thinking. And that's why I tell each and every one of you all the time, always critical think. Always, you feel me, think before your emotions, not with your emotions. Think before your emotions. If you like somebody, if you love somebody, if you love a movement, if you love what people stand for, never, ever, ever, ever think with your emotions as you move forward. Well, if you do act on your emotions, always bounce back and ask yourself, you feel me? Ask yourself, am I thinking or moving from my emotional state, or am I moving from my intelligent, intellectual state? And when you're moving from your intellectual and intelligent state, it's okay to act in your emotions, but never act in your emotions first. I mean, you feel me? Never act in your emotions first. Never. Listen, I know a lot of brothers from the NOI is going to be upset about this. They're not going to be upset because I disrespect the minister. They're going to be upset because I'm looking at what the minister have said and what the research says, and I'm putting it all together and I'm asking a question, why? That's and this is the sad part about our community. The moment that we begin to ask why, we become the target. This is the sad part of our community. Listen, if somebody asks me something about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, I'm just going to do my best to explain it. And if I can't explain it, you follow me? I'm not on, see, this is the difference. My brother Chicago Bling, I'm really not on their heads. You know what I'm saying? I'm really not on their heads. I'm only comparing information. Young Pharaoh is an ignorant fool. He disrespected the minister. He cussed at the minister. He cussed at Risa. I'm not doing any of that. I'm only examining the information. That's it. That's all. Young Pharaoh is an ignorant fool, and he should never, ever be talking to the elders in a way, or addressing the elders in our community the way that he came at the minister, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, it's okay to disagree in my book. It's okay to disagree in my book, but it's not okay to be disrespectful. It's not okay to be scum. You know what I mean? That's not okay. You know what I mean? That's not okay. So I don't appreciate, and a lot of his research is embellishments. A lot of his research is something just to be sensationalized. And if he was up against someone who was, you know what I mean, really, really into their studies and was up to the challenge like I do with research, he would be done. See, one thing about my brother Risa, one thing about my brother Risa and other brothers in the NOI, they would definitely give you a run for your money with logic, and they'll verbalize it. I'm not the type to give you a run for your money with logic, just verbalizing anything. I'll give you a run with your money with receipts. You feel what I'm saying? That's my lane. And so he's showing all of these screenshots. He need to battle me. That's what we need, because I'm gonna go screenshot for screenshot up against you. I'm gonna knock the brains out you, but he would never do that. Most people that understand who is a formidable opponent when it comes to real information, they would never do nothing like that. Never. It wouldn't even be in the best interest. Because I would end this career. I would end it. I mean, it's over now, but whatever the case may be, family. So I want y'all to know that tonight, this is not an attack on NOI. This is not an attack on NOI. This is not an attack on the minister. This is examining the information. That's it. This is examining the information. And I wonder why would the minister introduce Ron Hubbard, because I never really knew nothing about it until the Honorable Minister Farrakhan mentioned him. Dianetics and Scientology. Why? Till this day, it doesn't sit right with me. That's all I'm saying. But I'm not a member of the Nation of Islam, so it really doesn't have to sit right with me. You understand what I'm saying? But because it's public information, and it's information that is targeted for our people, we have a right to question it, to examine it, and compare it. Now, I don't know the answer why. I can only go by what the minister have said to us. Now, I will tell you this, whether you accept it or not, brothers will get extremely, and sisters get extremely protected over the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because they now see him as the Messiah. And this is just a fact. You know what I'm saying? The brothers and sisters in the NOI, many of them see him as the Mahdi, the Messiah, the return of Jesus. I've heard this in many circles. Now, if I'm wrong, maybe a brother can come to correct me. But when one sees their brother now, or their brother or sister has now been elevated to the Messiah state, we have to be extremely careful not to be disrespectful. Because when someone sees one as their Messiah, they're on a whole nother level. Everything you say can be taken the wrong way. And I don't want that to happen, because I don't want no smoke. No, I'm just playing. Nah, you don't want to offend nobody. You know what I mean? You don't want to be mean. You want to look at the information for what it is, and you want to go with it, with the information. No disrespect. And that's the same thing with Brother Tariq, Tariq Nasheed. I'm contemplating on doing this presentation about Brother Tariq Nasheed. I mean, no, listen. I want to say Mufasa. Nobody ever made a statement that it was a requirement, brother. See, this is where we got to stop, brother. Nobody ever made that statement, brother. Why are we jumping out the window already? Nobody said Dianetics was a requirement for NOI. Who said that? See, brother, this is where we go wrong. Brother, FOI classes are very, very important for discipline because nobody say that. Nobody said that, brother. You follow me? So, but I'm comparing information. What I will do is say is this. Let me share this with you. This is what I will share with you. You know what I'm saying? I will share this with you. Let's see. When we start talking about, are you doing this for views? Let me block you real quick. I don't have time to play with you today. Sorry, Carlo Ralston, you got to go. You said it too many times. I'm not playing with you. I'm doing this because I'm interested in the topic. Now, go make another fake account so I can block you again. Now, don't ask me a stupid question. Are you doing this for views? I'm doing this because I'm interested in the topic, and consequently, most people are interested, will get it views. Come on. I can't be interested in a topic now? Just go and block stupid stuff like that. You've been around long enough. I've been letting you get away with too much. I mean, I've been letting you get away with too much. Now you're gone. A fool sitting up here watching, giving me a view, ask me, are you doing it for views? Are you watching to give me a view? I'm gonna stop playing with y'all, man. We're turning up this winter. We set the summer on fire. We set the summer on fire. Now we're about to set the snow to melt. All right? We're going to set the snow to melt. Right, you doing this for views, but you sitting up here watching me, giving me a view. You can't make this stuff up. You must be doing this for views, but you viewing it. Stop viewing it. Goofy. Man. I just get on my nerve with this, this illogical way of thinking. It's illogical. Stop viewing it. That's it. You're helping me if you're viewing it. Stop viewing. Unsubscribe. Stop viewing. Rashad, you say, I'm here to look, see, view, and understand. Carry on, Grand Sheik. Carry on. Carry on. I'm just going to peek. I'm going to put up the monkey peeking emojis, and I'll just peek. Because black girls read, so I must view. I have to view to read. Y'all ready? But no, this is going to be a respectful dialogue, but I got to share with you. I had to share this with a brother. And my brother Damon X probably listening before I get started. I had to share this with a brother from the NOI that was on the phone with me the other day. And I said to him, and I want to help you get a beard, Ethiopian. You want to help me to get a beard? Man, these people crazy. You better not be a brother talking about helping me get a beard. If you a brother worrying about whether I got a beard or not, you check out right now. You check out right. You better not be no brother worrying about if I got a beard or not. I mean, oh yeah, that's a brother. That's a brother. That's a brother. That's a brother. That's as fruity as 13 strawberry cream cakes. Where about if I got a beard? Muhammad had a beard, and you must have one too. You fake Muslims are funny. Muhammad had a beard, and oil dripped off of his beard. Why don't you have a beard? You should have a beard like Muhammad. Maybe you should maybe you should just put some hemp on it, some Kemp on it. You know, the red stuff. You should have one like Muhammad. Yeah, like Muhammad. Goofball, get out of here. I'm gonna leave you in here for a while so I can torture you. Stay in here. I'm gonna torture you with your goofiness. A grown man worried about another grown man with a beard. You can't make this up. You know you should have a beard. You a man. You get away from me. I did have a beard because the Arabs say I got to have a beard. That was henna. That's what it called. My man, Khalil. That's what it called, henna. Hey, you should have a long beard with some red henna on it. Yeah, because you know what? I don't trust people with a clean shaven face. No, Muhammad said you need a beard and you got to keep your butt hole clean. You Moors are hopeless homosexuals. Goodness gracious. That's my key to get you out of here. That's it. That's your last comment. You talk about poop shoots and everything already. Time to get you out of here. He in here talking about poop shoots. You Moors are. What did you just say? I don't even know how I posed it, man. Let me get started, man. God, that's it. I can't play with you no more. My goodness. Man, what type of, this person supposed to be a Muslim? I guess he's supposed to be a Muslim, but what type of mind could bring something out like that and put it in public for the public to see and hide behind a fake name? But they can't hide behind that type of brain. See, you can hide behind a fake name. You can hide behind a fake name, but the type of brain that will produce that type of comment is a sick person. Any brain that will produce that type of comment. You know what would be better? If the person was to say, brother, are you a Muslim? And if you are, why don't you have a beard? And then I say, hit the link, let me explain it to you. You see what I'm saying? That would make more sense than what he just said. But that just shows you the state of uncivilized people that it's amongst us and around us, a part of us and not a part of us. And this is what I'm working towards. So I'm going to intelligently share what I want to share. Ain't that crazy, though? What type of mind produces comments like that? We got a long way to go, family. I don't get offended with people like that because I understand that type of mind. You know what I'm saying? I understand. I mean, I understand. So, family, we about to get heated. So now, one of the things that let's get started. Let me exit out some of these things real quick. I got to exit out some of these windows so I can get started, man. I guess that was the monologue. You know what I mean? I guess it was. You know what I mean? You feel me? I guess that is. I guess that's it. Is y'all gonna hit the thumbs up? Are you gonna hit the thumbs up yet? Is y'all gonna hit the thumbs up? Because we about to get busy. I mean, so let's go. All right. So listen, I want to make one thing clear. This is what I want to make clear real quick. Let me see if I can find it real quick. One thing I want to make clear is that I was talking to a brother, back to my point. I was talking to a brother from the NOI, dedicated brother from the NOI. And he had said to me, he said, brother, why are you always talking about the minister, or you have something to say about the minister when you do something about NOI, something like that? And I say, brother, I really pick subject matters that is interest of me. And I just like to look at stuff for what they are, not what they seem to be. And he said to me, He said to me, I said, I've never been disrespectful. He says, no. I said, well, we should be able to examine information that we see. He agreed. And he said, and he didn't use these words, so don't quote me on this. And if he's watching, I don't want him to quote me on this. But he said something to the fact that I'm sensationalizing, or I'm dramatizing, etc., etc. Oh, the horns are coming. He says I'm sensationalizing, or I'm dramatizing, etc., etc. And I had to mention to him that in the early days of the minister, his media campaign was the most sensationalized, provocative campaign that we have ever seen since Malcolm X. And what I mean provocative, he provoked these certain energies to bring the attention to him so they would understand what NOI stood for, represent, and would not go for. He spoke to the European Jew in the ways that it was written in the doctrine by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He spoke to the European in the same way. He spoke to the Uncle Toms in the same way. Anyone that he had disagreements with as it related to leading our people, he spoke to it. It got him much attention. It was a media campaign that really was a catalyst to building the Nation of Islam. Because the more he went around, the more the media followed him, the more they knew of the minister, and he was able to build the Nation of Islam to what it is today, right? And so I say all that to say that I will never go to the extent that I've heard the truths given to our people by the minister, because that's not my ministry. But I will, on this social media platform, challenge thought. What up, Keish Wash? Thank you, Keish Wash, for the cash app. Thank you for the cash app, Keish Wash. But so I won't go to that level. You follow me? However, because that's not my ministry. However, my ministry is into research, into comparing and seeing what's real. That's it. That's it. So when brothers or sisters try to get on me for the way that I do my social media, always remember that the same one that you want to defend against how I do mine, you was cheering when our brother, our elder, did his. Always remember that. And last but not least, our brother, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he did his spill and continues to do it fearlessly, no matter who was on the receiving end. And so I plan to do the same. You know what I mean? It's the same way where the brother, our brother minister say, give me a minute. He said, let me see if I can find it. Right here.
Sorry. I said I was going to let God lead me. So if I crush your foot, go find a podiatrist and get it fixed.
Basically what the minister is saying, if I say something and you feel some type of way, fix yourself. Fix yourself. And I agree. I will never be disrespectful, but I will always challenge the information at hand. Let's go.
I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. more you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. You a friend of the Moors, then you a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those that speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you wasn't black, proved it with straight facts. You tripping off trucks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. Family, see y'all tonight, 9:30. Let's go. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number.
All right. We're about to get busy, family. Listen, everybody, thumbs up, because I'm not even going to be looking at the chat too much, because I know we're going to have some antagonizers there. And I just want to get this information out about what I see, about what I understand. You know what I'm saying? So let me see. Let me see if I can get this. Hold up. Why does this look like that? Why does this look like that? Why does this look like that? There it is. All right. So first of all, I want to talk about a little bit about Ron Hubert, right? European Ron Hubert. And let's just start from the top. And you can always Google this stuff yourself, but let's just start from the top and just keep it moving. The ideas of Dianetics originated in an unpublished research L. Ron Hubbard supposedly performed in the 1920s and 1930s. He recorded the results and his conclusions in an unpublished 1938 manuscript, Excalibur, the contents of which formed the basis for some of his later publications. Now, many people I've heard in NOI would say, well, Dianetics is our science. And if it is, my response is, well, why would you go and get it from the European if we can get it from us in the purest form? There will be no need to go to the European unless he's the only one on the planet Earth in this era of time that possess something that is useful to bring something out of us. So when we look at this, let me go to this. One of the things that really jumps out to me about Ron Hubert is some of the things that he says, some of the rhetoric that he spewed during his lifetime. And some of the rhetoric he spewed is when he was in South America. You know what I mean? When he was in South America. And some of the messages is, he says this. This is in 1960 in Johannesburg. He says, illiterate cultures do not survive, and they are not very high. The natives of the tribe of the Booga-Boogas down in lower Booga are mostly no longer with us, or they are around waving flags today and revolting against their central government. They didn't learn fast. Their literacy was not up to absorbing culture rapidly. They've been very happily down amongst the bung trees, you know, dancing up and down among the bung trees, and the highest level of their interests and so forth was their own backyard. The highest level of their interests was their own backyard. He's talking about Africans and people of African descent. And then in 1964, he states, actually, have you ever noticed how a Negro, in particular down south, where they're pretty close to the soil, personifies messed? The gatepost and the wagon and the whip and everything around here, a hat. They talk to them, you know, what's the matter with your hat? They imbue them with personality. In other words, he's being facetious about those Southern brothers and sisters down there. You know what I'm saying? And this is the basis of my research. The basis of my research is, can a racist teach you? Can a racist bring out spirituality, bring out inconsistencies of personality that he have yet to bring out in himself? Because the argument is about Dianetics is that it brings out things in you that you don't know exists within you, that is bedded, laying in your subconscious mind. So now the question would be is, what can a man teach you to bring out that he haven't brought out of his own self? You understand what I'm saying? Like, and this comes from my teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the logic. You know what I mean? The logic behind, if a man knows, he must be what he knows. You follow me? If a man knows, he must be what he knows. So in other words, you can't teach somebody a thing that you don't know yourself, because you haven't brought the evils or the wickedness out of yourself. Therefore, your Dianetic stuff cannot really work. It can't work because it didn't work on you, right? So this is the basis of my conversation today, and we about to get into it. Hold on, let me X this out too. I don't want my thing to drag. I don't want it to drag, so I'm gonna X out some windows. Give me a second. Y'all can go and get thumbs up right now. Give me a second. Let me X out some windows, because I definitely don't want to get any. I definitely don't want to get any drag, because I got a lot going on here in this demonstration. Oh, let me get that. Bam. All right, here we go. Now, what was that? Oh, bop. All right, I'm almost there. I'm just Xing out all these windows that I've been doing my research in, and all of these folders. If you don't mind, you just give me a second. All right, because class is in section. And so somebody say, you can learn a lot from a dummy. No one walking through walls today. All right. All right, now here we go. Let me get back at it real quick. Bam. So now, this is the sentiments that I receive, not only from the Quran and the Most High Temple of America, but from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan himself. It reads, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. You are what you practice, not what you believe. You follow what I'm saying? You are what you practice, not what you believe. That's a flex, drop a bomb on it. So we're going to keep it a buck. Also, our brother, the minister, at one time, he taught us and those members of the Nation of Islam that the white man is our mortal enemy and we cannot accept him. I will fight to see that vicious beast go down into the lake. It should be lake of fire prepared for him from the beginning, that he never rise again to give any innocent black man, woman, or child the hell that he has delighted in pouring on us for 400 years. This is the Farrakhan that I kind of grew up on. And many people who watch this know without a doubt of contradiction, if you are over 40, this is the Farrakhan you grew up on too. You and I know. So as I go through this presentation, I don't want anybody to get sensitive. I want you to use your critical thinking skills and just examine, does this work? This is an article from 1985. Scientology. Mr. Artwell said, when I found out, I went to see Miss Hold. She explained that she believed this instruction will help the children in her 11 plus in their 11 plus by driving out all other thoughts and clearing their minds. I understand that Dr. Thompson, who lives at the school and described as a Scientologist, have been working on this form of instruction. Dr. H. Thomas was not available last night. He is associated with Dr. Ron Hubert, founder of the doctrine of Scientology. Dr. Hubbard, who is now in South Africa, claims to make a patient, this was the 60s, claims to make a patient relive in his mind incidents that go back to childhood, even to the time before he was born. Back to my point. If Ron Hubert has the ability to correct errors by the way of Dianetics that has hindered us, you follow me? Like capital letter J. That has hindered us on our path of life, but he haven't done it for himself. that should be a major problem. That should be a major problem. With that being said, let me get my Apple moment. Ron Hubert was putting articles all throughout newspaper. And one of the articles that you find in the 60s and the 70s, body, mind, spirit. Would you like to know who you really are? Church of Scientology. This is one of the ads from Ron Hubert. But now Elijah Muhammad says it is the knowledge of self that the so-called Negroes lack. Okay, body, mind, and spirit, Ron Hubert, which keeps them from enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. This belongs to them divinely as much as it does to other nations of the earth. It is God's will and purpose that we should know ourselves. Therefore, he came himself to teach us the knowledge of self. Now, hold up. I don't follow the doctrine of the Nation of Islam, but I can follow the narrative in which it is expressed to help our people. This says that Allah came in the person, as we will come to know, of Master Farad Muhammad. It is Allah, God's will and purpose, that we should know ourselves. Therefore, he came himself to teach us the knowledge of self. Who is better knowing of who we are than God? There we go. Those are the words of Elijah Muhammad. So why would we go how can I say this? If Elijah Muhammad says that God came in the person to teach you about yourself, and who would be best to teach you about yourself than God, why would it be even sufficient to go any other direction? Like, Ron Hubert could not teach me anything about myself. At the end of the night, Prophet Noble Drew Ali's doctrine is solid. For me, I don't know about anybody else. It's solid for me. And so what I'm examining here is that this says, this says that God came himself to teach us knowledge of self, and who is better knowing of who you are than God? That's the question. Who is better of knowing yourself than God? That's the question we was given. But now we also have this.
And God himself has guided us. But I found something in the teaching of Dianetics of Mr. L. Ron Hubbard. that I saw could bring up from the depth of our subconscious mind things that we would prefer to lie dormant. But the auditing process brings it up, and it's like bringing up demons out of us. And just as this book Bible says, that was the work of Jesus. How can you say you love Jesus the Christ when he was an exorciser of demons out of the people?
Now, I don't want to put words in the minister's mouth, but it sounds to me that the minister, and it's only my interpretation of what I hear, that he's equating Dianetics to the work of Jesus. I don't know if I'm the only one that's hearing that, but he's equating Dianetics to the work of Jesus. You follow me? Now, is it the same? I've never did Dianetics. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have a clue. So let me run it back.
But I found something in the teaching of Dianetics of Mr. L. Ron Hubbard that I saw could bring up from the depth of our subconscious mind things that we would prefer to lie dormant. But the auditing process brings it up, and it's like bringing up demons out of us. And just as this book Bible says, that was the work of Jesus.
And so what my point is that there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with equating that to the work of Jesus. The issue when we doing research and we studying how to liberate ourselves, I believe that we have to be careful how people interpret what we're talking about. Just like the brother said, you're playing it out of context, Grand Sheik. Play the whole thing. I don't have time to play the whole thing, brother. I will put the link of the whole thing in the chat. I don't have time to play the whole thing. But what I'm telling you is that little segment right there, that sound bite right there that I played, what I'm expressing is he said that he found something. All right. Now, with that being said, the Honorable, well, don't take the clip and try to make the point. I have to. That's just how I do my show. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, it is Allah's will and purpose that we should know ourselves. Therefore, he came himself to teach us the knowledge of self. Who is better knowing of who we are than God himself? Tony Curtis said, I should be audited myself, then come back and talk to people. No European system will audit me. I'm doing fine, my brother. With that being said, in the message to the black man, it teaches that, talking about the tribe of Shabazz, it says, so being the first smartest scientist on the deportation of our moon and who has suffered, let me go on down. It says, we are the mighty, the wise, the best, but do not know it. Being without the knowledge, we disgrace ourselves, subject ourselves to suffering and shame. We cannot get the knowledge of self until the coming of a law. To know thyself is to know all men. As for us come all, and to us all will return. From us come all, and to us all shall return. Now, I have confidence in this doctrine. Hold up, I hear my dog barking. Let me let him in. He went out to use the restroom. Hold on 1 second. It's not a good process. It's a form of hypnotherapy. Hold on. I left you out there, buddy. See, y'all done messed me up. Y'all done messed me up. I done let Louis outside right before I start the show. And you know what I mean? Let him use the bathroom. I'm up here, I'm working, and Louis, I hear Louis, but I'm looking in the camera. I know ain't nothing outside, but it's raining. Louis out there in the rain. He don't like to grab no shelter. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's get it rolling. Let's get it rolling. Now, on the third paragraph, look at this. Grand Sheik, you use that argument don't work here, brother. That argument don't work here. We're talking about the knowledge of God, brother. We're talking about the knowledge of self. That argument don't work here. That's apples and oranges. You use an iPhone, Gates, Elon Musk. That don't work here. We're talking about the knowledge of self. We're talking about the metaphysical principle of understanding who we are from our divine self and our past lives, if that's what you want to talk about. We're not talking about cell phones. This is a different conversation. You can debate me if you want to. Do you want to come up here? Huh? Can a European give us a science to redeem ourselves? You want to do that? Huh? You want to do that? Do you want to do that, Tony Curtis? Can a European offer us a science to redeem ourselves? Let's debate it. And I will use your own doctrine primarily. Do you want to? Do you want to do that, Tony? That'll be the debate. Can a European offer us a science, a spirituality, a religious principle to redeem us? Take the debate. Email me at taharkabay@gmail.com. No, the minister say, I found something that would help you. That's what he said. Now, here we go. This is what the messenger said. The messenger said, awake and know that Allah has revealed the truth. That's not true. I'm going to prove that wrong too, Damon X. Let me stop watching the chat. Here we go. It's not their science. That's the same thing they say about masonry. So why go back and get it from them? Come on. It's not their science. So why go back and get it from them? You still got somebody on earth. You know how many of us on earth in compared to them? Why we gotta go back and get it from? All right, let's keep rocking. And if you are a member of the Nation of Islam, you've been visited by God in the person of Farrakhan Muhammad, or Master Farrakhan Muhammad. So, that's no excuse. We're not going to do that. It's not their science. God should have brought you to it. But let me show it to you. Let me finish. Awake and know that Allah has revealed the truth. Stop believing in something coming after you're dead. That is untrue. and no one can show you proof. Right? So let's keep it moving. In the 1940s, I'm going to leave this alone. Ron Hubbard was broke. He was broke. And he made a statement that said, if you want to get rich, create your own religion. The Messenger wrote in the Message to the Black Man, what I'm trying to make clear is that white people do not believe in Allah and Islam or the prophets of Allah. Why? Then should you seek truth from them? You will soon come to know that you should not seek any truth from them. I'm going to say it again. This is from the Message of the Black Man. What I'm trying to make clear is that the white man do not believe in Allah and Islam or the prophets of Allah. Why then should you seek truth of it from them? I meant to say of it from them. You will soon come to know that you should not seek any truth from them. Tony, are you still here? Damon, are you still here? Are you still here? You can put a 7. You can put a 7 in the chat if you still here. Kadar, are you still here with me, brother? Are you still here? Just for a bit. All right. And this is the thing. Are we able to receive truth without emotions? Because this is the truth from the messenger. If you show me a truth that I'm going against as it relates to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, I'm going to do my best to complete the task of correcting myself. That's it. But I'm only asking the question, it's a rhetorical question, why was it given to us? Or why was it offered? Put it like that. Why was it offered? All right? So, and I'm going to remember this slide because this slide is very important. Do not seek any truth from them. And Ron Hubbard is quoted as saying, you don't get rich writing science fiction. If you want to get rich, you start a religion. That's a Ron Hubert quote. Ron Hubbard mentions this about South Africans. The other implications relates to Ron Hubbard theories on the meaning of heavy reads, on the E-meter. Now, Tony said that I should get a reading. And I said, I'm good. But this what Ron Hubbard said to his people about your people. He stated that the amount of resistance measured was in direct proportion to the dreadfulness of the overt antisocial act supposedly being uncovered by the E-meter and the unwillingness of the subject to confront his overts. The logic of this means that to the Scientologists, that the uniquely high resistance of Bantus obviously shows that they are much more deceitful and degraded than any other race. Hubbard confirms this conclusion elsewhere with the statement that's in a part of this culture. And I'll share that in a minute. part of their culture is to steal and lie. Ron Hubert says that this e-meter would not measure, you follow me? Would not measure the reading of a Bantu, and he would, and in reality, if you study it closely, when he talk about the Bantus, he would interchange that with Negroes. You follow me? He would interchange that with Negroes. I want you to be clear on this. Whenever you see the term, if you do research and you research what I'm doing, whenever he speaks about the Bantus of South Africa, he's actually generalizing. He's generalizing, and it doesn't matter if he said the Negroes in the South or the Bantus. He's generalizing. And he's generalizing because this is what he feels. I'm telling you, this is what he feels about your group. And this process, he says that the e-meter and the unwillingness of the subject to confront his overts. This is what he's saying about the Bantus. All right? Now, Ron Hubert publicly espoused sympathy for the plight of black majorities in Rhodesia and South Africa. So publicly he said one thing. All right? So publicly he said one thing. But listen, my bad. Ron Hubert publicly espoused sympathy for the plight of the black majorities in Rhodesia and South Africa. But in conversations with his white Southern African supporters, he expressed contempt for blacks. While he was in Rhodesia, he told the white South African and the world first clear, John McMaster, that blacks were so stupid that they could not give a reading on the e-meter. This may explain his instruction regarding auditing of Bantus that I mentioned above. The London Daily Mail similarly reported that Rhodesian to whom he had spoken, had quoted him saying that Africans would not qualify for Scientology membership because their IQ was too low. I hear what I say? Because their IQ was too low. This is just what the research says. Hubbard is not, however, on record as having said similar things in other countries. His message to appear to have changed according to his audience. We've seen this before. Anybody that was in corporate America know how the European snitch is. The European snitch, they'll sit up there at the water cooler with you. Hey, Sally. Hey, Sally. Oh, yeah. Hey, Deborah. How are you, Deborah? Oh, my God, your hair is lovely. Did you see Deborah's hair? Why don't she straighten it? Oh, my God. I mean, it's just so nappy. God. Have a great lunch, Deborah. I try to tell you. I mean, Damon X said, funny how the irrelevant folks are so intriguing to those who could care less. Well, we're only teaching here tonight, brother. We're only teaching here tonight, brother. We this is a blog show. And this is a topic that I wanted to discuss and to cover. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, in the 1960s, this is an article, I think it's from a London paper, if not, where, now this is where the rubber meets the road. in a London paper, right? It's an article, and I got a piece of it. I got a piece of it where they were creeping people in schools to use children as guinea pigs. You follow what I said? There we go, Karen. Can the devil fool a Muslim? No, not nowadays, bro. Do you mean to say the devil fooled us 4 equal years ago? Y equals self. Took a trader's interpretations. Go ahead, Karen us. You know your lessons. Good night. Can the devil fool a Muslim? Not nowadays, bro. Yes, indeed. But the point that I'm making is we need to stop being so emotional. And we need to understand what it is. Let me ask you a question. Do we want salvation, liberation? Do we really want that? Salvation is what I mean, is freedom of mind. In order to get freedom of mind, we're going to have to be critical thinkers. Our teachers, our leaders may not have the end-all be-all. But if we make a contribution with our critical thinking, we can get there faster. We can get there faster. But when we don't critically think and we give everybody a pass because we like personality, we personality worship too much. When we stop personality worshiping, we can begin to worship the divine within self, unfold that self, and be united with the balance of the universe. And once you are united with the balance of the universe, know thyself, become one, the power of heaven and earth is yours as spoken by Jesus. But as long as you continue to worship personalities and dogmatic doctrines, you're never going to unfold into your God self. You can forget about it. You may look at me as the typical Moorish American, but if you ever hear me teach Moorish science, you will never hear me into no dogmatic nonsense that you hear on the internet. Never. I don't subscribe to it. I don't teach it, nor do I practice it. That doesn't mean that I don't have customs that I abide by, that I subscribe to, but customs do not alter the nature of truth. No, MST is dogmatic. Bring the dogmatic principle up here, challenge me, debate me, and let's get it on. Bring the dogmatic principles of the MST of A to me, battle me. Step up. See, that's the difference between this Chad Chili. I'm willing to confront anybody with the information that you think I follow that is dogmatic, that you think is a lie, that you think it has misled me. You can bring it to me, brother. I will not curse you out. I will not talk about your family. I will not disrespect you. I will only bring information. I will not call you a troll. No, what I'm saying though, Chad, I would not call you a troll. I would not shame you. I would not do nothing. I will do my best to answer every question you have. And I will prove that what I practice as it relates to Moorish science is not dogmatic. I can't speak for everybody else. So, brother, if anybody, you know what I mean? If anybody that wants to challenge, I'm here, talkabay@gmail.com. But just bring it calmly, respectfully, and scholarly. Now, let's get it. Now, in this article right here, it says, Mr. Herbert Jones, clerk of East Grinstead Council, also withdrew his 9-year-old daughter, Maura. She was head girl. And Miss Stephen took away Sarah. Other angry parents telephoned, wrote, or interviewed Miss Horde, demanding an explanation and assurances that the sessions would stop. So what they were doing is they were putting people. They had got a position in this school in the 60s, and they were secretly using the children to test them with these machines. It says some youngsters had about 15 sessions. They were held first thing in the morning and lasted up to 45 minutes. Miss Hope Quinn Young, wife of former director of education of Eastern Nigeria, who has a girl at the school, said last night. Notice Nigeria. It says, this hideous experiment was carried out behind my back. My daughter was taken away from the school as soon as I can place her. My daughter will be taken away from the school as soon as I can place her elsewhere. My husband is contacting the Ministry of Education about it. So what Scientology was doing is they was getting the bag from the school in the 60s by auditing or experimenting on children with this machine. You feel me? And then they was actually trying to, this was a marketing campaign back in the day. It was in every newspaper. I can share this with you. In the 40s and the 60s, all the way up to the 70s, they was marketing to get people to buy into Dianetics, Country Club Cafe, Benson Highway. This is the 60s. Enroll tonight in the Scientology marriage co-audit with your marriage partner starting 7:30 p.m. at 920 Northeast Ave, Cali, Massachusetts. So they was actually marketing this thing. They was trying to, at the beginning of this, man, they was on a serious marketing campaign. They was in the schools. The schools was selling out the children. But they was testing the machines on the children. I'm telling you. So look. Here we go. Enroll in Scientology marriage co-audit course with your marriage partner starting Wednesday evening, November 6th. There you go. There's another one. Help your marriage now. So they was getting it in. They were getting it in. This was all about business. Once, look at the tab. You got Alcoholic Anonymous. You got Silhouette Membership. You got Memograph, typing stencil manuscripts. And then under the ad to try to enroll, it says it takes only 30 minutes to clean a rug. Then it got the alien thing, private tutoring and citizenship. This was the conscious community of the Europeans back in the day. You hear what I say? Do I yell too much? This was the conscious community of the Europeans. This was the Europeans inking them. This was inking them. This was polite and inking them back in the day. This was in the beginning. This was polite, inky, all them people, man. I'm trying to tell you. Y'all think I'm playing. Y'all think I'm playing. Y'all think it's a game. This was it. Yeah. We didn't create the conscious community. No, we didn't. Ron Hubert was polite. Y'all think it's a game, all right? Think people playing with your soul, man. Y'all tripping. Now, anyway, let's keep it popping. I find it odd, man. I thought this is something that I wanted to look into. I hope I don't hurt nobody's feelings. It is what it is. So look, Dianetics is not Scientology. And I say, sure it is. I put Dianetics is not Scientology. I wrote that. Sure it is. Let me blow this up for you real quick. Let me blow this up for you real quick. On May 9th, 1950, Lafayette Ronald Hubbard, 1911, 1986, publishes Dianetics, a modern science of mental health. With this book, Hubbard introduced a branch of self-help psychology called Dianetics, which quickly caught fire over time, morphed into a belief system called Scientology. It morphed into a belief system. So Scientology and Dianetics is the same thing. Don't tell me that you don't study Scientology. You only been audited because of Dianetics. No. No. Remember what I said on the first thing, that he developed the Dianetics idea back in 1920s. There we go. There you go. What? Wait. Hubbard do in the 1920s if he was born in 1911? That's right. According to him. You have to ask him. Kadar say, I ask, is the technology bad for our people? Yes. If I was in the Nation of Islam, I would say yes, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says you will soon come to know that you should not seek any truth from them. So to your question, yes, it is bad for our people. Because if Prophet Noble Drew Ali has a teaching to tell me to stay away from something, I don't disregard that. I don't disregard that. So if it's bad, let me see what you say. Again, I ask, is it the technology that is bad for our people? Anything that comes from them, according to Elijah Muhammad, it's bad for our people. Don't do anything associated with them. That's what I get from this statement. Develop your own technology from the science of our ancestors. Call it something else. But once you hear this,
how can you say you love Jesus up from the depths? I found something in the teaching of Dianetics of Mr. Ron Hubert.
The teachings of Dianetics of Mr. Ron Hubert. He's not talking about a technology. He's not talking about a technology that predates L. Ron Hubbard. He said he found a technology. Let me let you hear it again, Kadar. I don't want you to take up too much of my time.
Teaching of Dianetics of Mr. L. Ron Hubert. Of Mr. L. Ron Hubert. Dianetics of Mr. L. Ron Hubert.
Again, he's not saying the teaching of Dianetics of the ancient Egyptians. He's not saying the teachings of Dianetics against that was perpetuated by the Israelites. He said from Mr. Ron Hubert. Listen to it again. Listen to the language. This is a wise brother here.
The teaching of Dianetics of Mr. L. Ron Hubert.
The teachings of Dianetics of Mr. L. Ron Hubbard. In other words, the way that Ron Hubbard expressed it, this is what it is. Hear what I say? This is what it is. The way that Ron Hubbard expressed it, this is what he's found.
In the teaching of Dianetics of Mr. L. Ron Hubbard, that I saw could.
Someone said, so should we not go to college? Well, according to this statement, you will soon come to know that you should not seek any truth from them. According to that statement, you make the decision. You make the determination. You make the determination. Okay, I'm not going to let you hold me up any further. I'm not taking this personal. I'm going to just give you what I got. I mean, now, we can debate it if you want to. Anybody that want to debate, I'm open for it. I'm open for it. Anybody that wants to debate, I'm really open for it. You just make the topic make sense. All right. Anyway, let's get busy. Dianetics, Hubbard explains that the phenomenon known as engrams, memories, were the cause of all psychological pain, and which turned harm mental and physical health. He went on to claim that people could become clear, achieving an exquisite state of clarity and mental liberation by exaggerating their engrams to an auditor or listener acting as a therapist. Now, let me go back for a minute. It says, in Dianetics, Hubbard explained the phenomenon known as engrams, memories, were the cause of all psychological pain, which would in turn harmed mental and physical health. Stop right there. One of the things that led me to the research of the passing of Prophet Noble Drew Ali is that through our studies of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it was revealed that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was similar to, or quite naturally, a natural herbologist. And he had these remedies that was reported could heal what they say, arthritis. It could heal tuberculosis. But when he passes on the death certificate, it reads that Prophet Noble Drew Ali died of tuberculosis bronchitis. I'm like, hold up, that doesn't make sense. If Prophet Noble Drew Ali and people have verified that he was a natural healer with herbal medicines, then how in the world could he not heal himself? It didn't make sense to me. So I did the research and I found out, aha, they actually stabbed the Prophet Noble Drew Ali in front of his house at 3603 Indiana Avenue. But what I did was I didn't sweep it under the rug. I wanted to figure out, how did they begin? Why did they teach all of these years that a healer dies of tuberculosis? And so when we look at Ron Hubert, he says that Dianetics is a phenomenon that can release you from, of all things, and improve your physical health. Yet he dies of a stroke. That doesn't make sense. He dies of a stroke. Now, the follower said that, oh, he just gave up his flesh because it was just too much trouble. Now, he was 74, and that's what happened when you age and not take care of yourself in a way that your body can sustain itself. You know what I'm saying? Tony Curtis, I would not interview someone that Dianetics has helped. I would like to have a strong soldier up here that can handle the tough questions. Because an interview could become a promotion. And I'm not promoting no European concepts that I don't think that is essential to our growth and development and spirituality. I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that. But what I'm saying is that if you send a soldier that can handle the tough questions, I'm prepared to have that conversation. But I'm not going to promote and tiptoe through the tulips, making somebody feel good with something that I disagree with. I love my brothers and sisters regardless of what they believe in. However, I still do a blog show. I still do a blog show, and this is what I come to see. is what I come to see, that this saying this works, but it don't work for you doesn't make a lot of sense, family. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Come on, we need to be more logical in our path towards spiritual liberation. I mean, someone say, have I read the book on Dianetics? I'm not giving the European my hard-earned money. No. If I wanted to do the PDF, no. I'm just comparing it to what we see. All right? So let's keep it moving. Now, in 1953, Hubbard was able to rebuild from the widespread condemnation and false practices of Dianetics beginning to be heaped upon him and introduce Scientology. Now, I can give you all the links if you need. I'm going to put them under the chat. The reason why, yep, I'm on YouTube, brother. Do you want to debate why I'm on YouTube? Listen. I'm not the one that said that don't learn nothing from the white man. Don't learn no truth from the white man. I'm not the one that said that. You know what I'm saying? I will use the car. Let me get this out the way real quick. I will drive the car. I will even shop in the grocery store until we get our own. I will do everything that I need to do until we get our own. Yet, I will not subscribe to anything spiritual enhancing from a European. Not today. There is nothing spiritual or delivering that I will subscribe to from a European. Nothing. But I will drive the car. I will pay a mortgage. I will pay taxes. I will, so you can keep that nonsense. But anything spiritual, anything that works into my inner parts of my mind, all bets is off. All bets is off. Anything that works on this, nah, nothing that you put out, I'm going to mess with. Nothing. But now, I will use your box cutter. I would even drink the kombucha. So you can come up with them dumb straw man arguments all you want. We're talking about a spiritual science that we are leading our children to and leading our adult children. The hymn said, study the white man, he is successful. Study and adopt are two different things. Study, I'm going to get like Umar Johnson. Study and adopt are two different things. Study and adopt are two different things. I said study and adopt are two different things. You hear? I say study and adopt. Don't make me do Umar Johnson on y'all. That's right. Don't make me do that. Don't make me do that. Don't make me do that. That's right. So yeah, I will be on YouTube until we can develop our own. Now, if I did this on my page, you'll be paying for it. Yeah, because if I was doing this on the website, you wouldn't be watching it for free. Because I gotta pay the website people too until we create our own servers. All right. Now, it says this would imply that Ron Hubert, let me read it. Scientology expanding on Dianetics by bringing Ron Hubert's popular version of psychotherapy into the realm of philosophy and ultimately religion. In only a few years, Hubbard found himself at the helm of the movement that captured popular imagination. As Scientology grew in the 1960s, several national governments became suspicious of Hubbard, accusing him of quackery and brainwashing his followers. Nevertheless, Hubbard built his religion into a multi-million-dollar movement that continued to have a considerable presence in the public eyes due to a part of high-profile Hollywood. What the research says, that when Dianetics began to be questioned, he switched gears and developed Scientology. And Dianetics was embedded into the Scientology doctrine. This is why I say Scientology and Dianetics was the same and is the same thing. He just shifted gears. He did a brother polite. He went from the conscious community to Floyd Mayweather. He went from wearing Yankee hats to $2,000 fedoras or $600 hats with the red thing underneath. That's all. That's all. He went from Yankee fitteds to the black hat with the red felt underneath. That's what Hubbard did. He just changed the name, changed the game, and gave it back to who you needed. Now, today, people don't want to associate that Dianetics is separate from Scientology, but no, it came from the same brainchild and morphed into what we know to be Scientology today. All right? Now, how can you listen to a person who says he visited heaven twice? One time 43 trillion years ago, and one time 42 trillion years ago. Now, you say, is the technology right? How can you trust someone who said that they visited heaven? They visited heaven. In a 4-page HCO bulletin dated 11 May AD, meaning after Dianetics. You know, he created his own time scale. He claimed the first visit had taken place 43 trillion, gazillion, whatever. I don't even know that number. 10 hours, 20 minutes, 40 seconds. 10:02 daylight Greenwich means time, May 9th, 1963. Nitpickers might have pointed out the daylight Greenwich mean time was the term unknown in horology, and that in any case at 10:02 p.m. but he's trying to explain that he visited heaven, people. He visited heaven. And now he's going to give you some information. The first surprise, that heaven was not a floating island in the sky. According to Ron Hubert, heaven was not, as everyone imagined, but simply a high place in the mountains of an unnamed planet. Visitors first arrived in town comprising on a trolley bus. This is how you go to heaven. This is the one that is going to put you on a machine and tell you about yourself. Visitors first arrive in a town comprising, for real, this is real talk, comprising of a trolley bus, some building fronts, sidewalks, train tracks, and a boarding house, a bistro in the basement, and a bank building, although there seem to be people around in the boarding house, for example. This is for real. No, Tony Curtis. The brother says that heaven is on another planet hiding in the mountains. That's what he said. You hear what I said? But our brother Nori says,
the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us that heaven and hell were not places. They were conditions. That you can have your heaven or your hell right here now while you're on earth. You don't have to wait for a big day of judgment in the sky to either get heaven or go to hell. You live today in the day of judgment. Every decision that you make puts you either closer to heaven or closer to hell. Is that right? Yes, good decisions bring us closer to heaven. Bad decisions bring us closer to hell. A baby's born into the world, you're in an emotional heaven. Someone that you love dies, you're in emotional hell. Am I telling the truth? If you have the ability to memorize everything you see, you're in a mental heaven. But if you're addicted to crack cocaine, you're in a mental hell. If you're handicapped, you can be in a physical hell. But if you have full athletic ability, you can be in a physical heaven. Heaven and hell are not places. They are conditions of life. You've been knowing it before Reverend messed you up. You've been knowing it before the theological seminary messed him up. They've been knowing it before the slave master messed them up. And the slave master knew it before Yaqub taught him.
Talk to him, Nori. Talk to him, Nori. Talk to him. So this is all we doing. A man cannot teach you one thing that's correct and teach you 100 things that's false. Everything goes in the trash can when he teach you one thing that's extremely false. In this case, you must throw the baby out with the bathwater, because Elijah Muhammad say you can't get no truth from him. Then Nuri quotes the messenger that teaches there ain't no heaven or hell on no mountain in another planet. And stop trying to interpret what people are saying. We're reading what the man has said. You follow me? I keep warning you. This is from the messenger. Let me get a picture of the messenger. Let me get a picture of the messenger real quick. This is only going to look right if I get a picture of the messenger. Put the messenger up here. There we go. Get a picture of the messenger. And mind you, I don't agree with all the teachers of the messenger, but a lot of the teachers agree with more science, because I am of the thought that that the NOI was birthed out of more science. I'm of that thought. But I get a picture of the messenger. I must keep warning you that you should give up the white race names and religion in order to gain success. Now, people will argue that Dianetics and Scientology is not a religion. It's called the Church of Scientology, and it falls under religion. Anyway, their days of success are over. Their rule will last as long as you remain asleep to the knowledge of self. Awake and know that Allah has revealed the truth. Stop believing in something coming to you after you are physically dead. That is untrue. And no one can show any proof of such belief. That's what the messenger said. It's not what I said. That's what the messenger said. Their rule will only last as long as you remain asleep to the knowledge of self. I only want to study God. How did they become so successful? Steal, kill, rob, and rape the world. Not the success I ever want to follow. I'm with you on that, Candy. I'm with that. Their track record is too bad. Thank you, Sister Candy. The track record is too bad to take a chance. Ron Hubert says, well, I've been to heaven. It was complete with gates, angels, and plaster saints, and electronic implantation equipment. Ron Hubert said he been to heaven. Y'all hear that? That's what he said. Ron Hubert said how can a man teach you anything that teaches something that goes against your teacher? That don't make sense. I'm only questioning the logic. I'm only questioning the logic. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm doing. I'm questioning the logic of why was, and it's a rhetorical logic, why was he sent here? In 1950, when Ron Hubbard published Dianetics, the modern science of mental health, its impact in the United States was a phenomenon, with some 750 Dianetics groups springing up across the country. But its reach was also felt in Southern Africa. And throughout English-speaking world, Scientology soon followed. In 1952, and the first Church of Scientology was established in Los Angeles, California. So once again, Dianetics is the guts of Scientology. Scientology, if it was a body, Dianetics would be the guts. And the body encasing the guts would be Scientology. And that's just the facts of the matter. So you cannot separate Dianetics from Scientology. You can try to, but that's not how the author designed it. That's just not how he put it down. You mean? That's just not how the author of Dianetics, he encased it in what we come to know as Scientology. And you can't escape it. You can try. You can argue with me all you want, but it just doesn't make sense because the research is there. It just doesn't make sense to argue with me at this point. It just doesn't make sense. Now, I don't know how to say this, but it says thetans and auditing. I'm sorry. The frozen thetans of the Xenu story go on to play a huge role in Scientology belief. Each human have their own thetan, and Scientologists strive to purify these spirits through auditing sessions until they reach a state of clear. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? They're going to take this machine and they're going to audit you. Now, you're going to pay thousands of dollars for it until you reach a state of clear. And when they tell you you clear, that means that you have gotten rid of all of your demons of the subconscious and past lives. I love my brothers. I'm going to lose friends over this. I'm going to lose friends over this. It's going to be some brothers in the NOI that's probably not going to speak to me no more. But I'm more of a friend of truth. And this is something that interests me. This is information. I love challenging information. I love information that's going to challenge the intellect. And this would challenge the intellect. This definitely would challenge the intellect, because you would ask, well, why would someone introduce this to our community? I don't have that answer. I don't have that answer. I'm only asking a rhetorical question. Auditing is one of the central practices of Scientology, in which practitioners are cleared of negative influences called engrams to heighten spiritual awareness and assess untapped potential. Now, with all due respect, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been called the Messiah. I didn't say that NOI charge anything, brother. However, the auditing is going to rid you of negative influence called engrams, to heighten spiritual awareness and to access untapped potential. Now watch this.
Up from the depth of our subconscious mind, things that we would prefer to lie dormant. But the auditing process brings it up, and it's like bringing up demons out of us. And just as this book Bible says, that was the work of Jesus. How?
Now stop right there. I've never heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say that, but I've heard people call him the Mahdi, call him the Messiah, and refer to him as Jesus. And if that be true, wouldn't it be reasonable that our brother, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, would bring these demons out? Wouldn't that make sense? If he's the Messiah today, wouldn't that make sense that he would bring the demons out as opposed to Ron Hubert? Now, like I said, I've never heard him say that. Somebody said he said it. He talked about a gold plate in a cup and small hats gave him. That's all I'm saying. Let me go back over here. The Church of Scientology has stated the procedure is 100% effective as long as it's done properly, and the recipient is truly seeking change. Happily for the Church of Scientology, audibly also widely expensive. It's estimated that reaching a clear cost of $128,000. Now, there was a European that had money, and she said she was sponsoring a lot of brothers and sisters in the Nation of Islam to get this process done. But I'm not going to verify that either, but I just had to mention that. Minister Tony Muhammad in 2017, after becoming clear and learning how to fully embrace the control capabilities of inherent in all thetans, the practitioner is now known as an operating thetan, or OT. According to Scientology, OTs are not limited by physical form or physical universe. According to the church itself, OT is a state of spiritual awareness in which an individual is able to control themselves and their environment. From there, many OT levels exist, all of which promise increasingly awe-inspiring knowledge and powers, and which, of course, costs more and more money to obtain. At OT level 3, for example, practitioners are able to hear the Xenu story above, and that's able to communicate. So if you're on the level 3, you can communicate with the beings on the planet Xenu. Thetan. Thank you, brother. It's pronounced Thetan. Thetan. Thank you, TMO group. Thetan. Thank you. If I butcher it again, please help me out. Thetan. Yeah. But you can communicate, and Minister told me Muhammad is clear. It's my understanding. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. But I think he is clear. I think he's clear. In Ron Hubert's book, Scientology, The History of Man, he goes into deep description of incidents in our past lives, because the Thetans are eternal entities. They have past lives that have experienced traumas throughout time. As a result, people today have a subconscious memory of past lives, as everything, including clams, atoms, cells in the process of mitosis, early photosynthesis organism, and sloth, just to name a few. If you don't know what I just said, Ron Hubert teaches that at one time you were a clam. That's what I said. Bro, I didn't say that. I didn't say that, brother. I didn't say that the nation charged anybody. At one time, you was a clam, according to Ron Hubert. How can he teach you about something? It says, the clam in particulars provides great example. Hubbard argued that the hinges of the clam eventually became the hinges of the human jaw. Y'all see that? That the hinges of the clam eventually became the hinges of the human jaw. See, if there's too many crazy teachings to accept one that you think is real. So your jaw used to be a clam. And somebody asked me, have I read the book? This is Brother Polite's 150 books, because he's an author of 150 books. How can a guy write stuff like this? So much crazy stuff that, okay, well, I'm going to just accept this and forget the rest. Well, maybe at one time. Come on, Tahaka. Well, maybe at one time. You tripping, Tahaka. Maybe at one time, our jaws was clams. I'm sorry, I gotta laugh, man. This is just the research that we're looking at. Oh, man. So, Ron Hubert teaches that. Let me blow this up a little bit. Human souls was programmed with false information. Have you ever wondered how so many different cultures was able to create the same God, devil, savior mythology? Joseph Campbell says that this is the kind of comparative mythology is how various cultures attempt to explain their existence. and that people are subconsciously attracted to the idea of the hero, which is why you have Jesus, Muhammad, and Buddha sharing similar stories. Well, according to Scientologists, the concept is untrue, just as Elijah Muhammad stated. Elijah Muhammad stated that what I'm trying to make clear is that white people don't believe in Allah and Islam or the prophets. Remember, Elijah said that the white man don't believe in the Quran or the prophets or Allah. So, well, according to Scientologists, this concept is untrue, because what really happened is, after Xenu dropped all the bodies off the next active volcanoes, their souls floated into the sky, were captured by sticky electronic beams, and taken to special theaters. There, the souls were shown 3D images that program misleading information into their being, like the concept of God, the devil, and Christ. After programming, their souls floated back to Earth and took up residence inside our bodies and gave people the seemingly false ideas of the faith. So what you're really being audited for is to get this programming from you. I'm going to say it again, Brother Tony. You're not being programmed or audited. You're not being programmed. You're not being audited because of your human experience of lifetimes. You're being audited because you've been programmed with false information. That's Scientology. That's Scientology. You was programmed with false information, and the auditing removes that information. Brother, you cannot argue with this, Brother Tony. Not to Hawker Bay. You know what a brother told me today? He told me today, a brother told me today, a real popular brother here in Baltimore on the conscious scene. He said to me, he said, brother, when I heard Tariq Nasheed mention your name, I said Tahaka Bay is going to eat him alive. That's what he said to me. And then he called his wife. He said, honey, come here. What I tell you what Tahaka Bay going to do to him since Tariq Nasheed mentioned his name? He said, yeah, you was going to tear him up, and I can't wait to watch. Listen, I'm a researcher. I do comparative research. That's all this is. I'm just comparing. I'm not like I'm actually bigging up the messenger. Actually, I'm actually bigging up the messenger because I'm using the messenger message in contrast to what Ron Hubert teaches. That's all I'm doing. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a 1000% student or subscriber to the teachers of the messenger, but that's my brother. That's my brother. You know what I mean? And like I said, the teachings, some of the teachers are universal. All right. Hubbard later warns the reader that the discussion of these incidents with the uninitiated in Scientology can cause havoc. You hear what I say? You hear what I say? Did you hear what I said? Hubbard later warns the reader that discussion of these incidents with the uninitiated in Scientology can cause havoc. Should you describe the claim to someone, you may reestimate in him to the extent of causing severe jaw pain. One such victim, after hearing about a clam death, could not use his jaw for 3 days. Come on, man. This gotta stop, man. This gotta stop. This gotta stop. This gotta stop. One such victim, after hearing about the clam death, Tony, we're not saying, that's not what we're saying. I don't know why you want to defend this. I'm not going to answer you no more. Ron Hubert, he was so strategic that he put ads in the papers. On the day when we can fully trust each other, there will be peace on earth. L. Ron Hubbard, wishing you and your family and friends and the entire Tampa Bay community a happy holiday season. The Church of Scientology. He was a marketing genius. This is what Ron Hubert would say about Chinese people. They smell of all baths they didn't take. The trouble with China is that there are too many chinks here. He was a dirty fool, man. This European was dirty, man. You know the problem with China? It's just too many chinks here. What? Come on, man. Come on, man. You know this is insane. You know that this is insane. Come on, man. Who talks like that? He gonna audit you though. He gonna get you right, but this is his way of thinking. It's too many Chinese in China. Hold up. Did I hear that right? There's too many Chinese in China. Listen to me. There's too many Chinese in China. And he gonna audit me? Kadar said, come on. Kadar, you want me to stop the bleeding? Kadar say, stop the bleeding, GS. GS, stop. Stop. Somebody get a tourniquet. Somebody get a tourniquet. Nah, stop, man. I'm just joking, man. You're going to get my brothers in the nation mad at me, Kadar. Stop. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, brother. Leave me alone. My brothers in the NOI going to get mad at me, man. I'm going to get 100 calls tomorrow, man. I'm like, nah, man. Get a tourniquet. Stop the bleeding, GS. Hey, Brother GS, for full transparency, are you going to play the rest of the video? The minister says he's not adopting a bitch. Oh, yeah, I got that clip. I do got that clip. Let me see. In fact, I think I got the clip. Hold up. I think this might be it.
So I wanted to say, look, you know, the critics are saying, oh, Farrakhan talking all this black talk and went over to this white man, L. Ron Hubbard. Stop. If it weren't so silly.
I ain't silly, brother.
I am you. I haven't changed my religion. You know, all the prophets taught us to seek truth. From the cradle to the grave. I said, wherever knowledge is, you should seek to be a possessor of it.
Now, I want you to remember what you said. I said something earlier, right? I said something earlier. So we hear what our brother Farrakhan has said in that demonstration right there, but we got to remember what he says right here. It doesn't matter what you call yourself. You are what you practice, not what you believe. We have to remember that. So in other words, I'm not calling my brother a liar or anything of that sort. But if you're using something handed down by Europeans to deliver you, then you are what you practice, not what you call yourself. Does that make sense? So if you're practicing this, according to this statement here, that's who you are. Brother, you use the internet. No, I'm using principle. I'm using principle. I'm using principle because this is a statement that we use in the Moorish Science Temple of America. If a man knows, he must be what he know. You hear what I say? If a man knows, this is a Moorish science principle right here. If a man knows, he must be what he knows. Brother Farrakhan says, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. That applies to him too. It doesn't matter what you say, it's what you practice. Come on, brother. I know. I'm saying the same thing. Come on, brother. It's what you practice. If I was, it's just me. I'm of the thought. I'm going to put the link to the video in here for you. I don't have time to play the whole video. I can put the whole video in the chat. I'm of the thought that Prophet Noble Drew Ali is a prophet. Now, with the way that people understand prophet, I could care less. But I'm of the thought that he's a prophet. And because he's a prophet, I'm of the thought that he came with the full scope of what we need to be delivered, to be liberated, to bring us back and regain our lost estate. Now, that's just a prophet. You believe that God came in the person in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad. That's a step above a prophet. So there's no what else more you need. If God came, not a prophet, God appeared in the person. That's all I'm saying, brother. That shouldn't be hard to understand. That is all I'm saying. And I think it deserves, you know what I mean? I think it deserves analyzing. That's all. No beef here. No beef here. Ron Hubert also said, a Chinaman cannot live up to a thing. He always drags it down. Hence, is rather dirty in spite of Japan's efforts to clean it up. That's what he said about Chinese people. That's what he said about Chinese people. Kadar, if you keep it up, Kadar, you better stop. You better stop if you keep it up. I just showed you, Kadar says this. Let me put this next to it, what the messenger said. Let me show you, put this what the messenger said. All right. God says It was the teaching from God that says seek knowledge. Well, it was the teaching from the messenger said you will soon know that you should not seek truth from them. Who do you want to follow? Kadar. Kadar, who you going to follow? There's the messenger. He said, study the white man. Kadar, I'm going to beat you up every time you come out. He said, study the white man. You will soon come that you should not seek any truth from the white man. Study and seek truth from is two different things. I'm going to let you ride tonight. Let Kadar, I'll let you go, Kadar. I'm gonna finish up. What time is it? Oh yeah, let me get finished because I got a presentation tomorrow too, or Thursday. I mean, I got a presentation tomorrow too, possibly. Now, all right, Kadar, I'm gonna leave you alone tonight. Okay, this is where Ron Hubert lived in Johannesburg. In North Africa, they had Arabs with the gun and whip. He talked about the Moors, actually. But he could force people to do things. And he accomplished a tremendous amount of extermination. But he certainly did not advance the civilization very much. They used to equate Arabs and Moors as one, when in fact, the pale Arab came later. But basically, he says that the Arab came into North Africa and he could force them to exterminate, but he certainly did not advance the civilization. Ron Hubert was a mean fool, boy. He's a mean dude. Ron Hubert was a joke. Look what he said. You find Africans, and you find in Africans a fantastic amount of heavy space, opera, and so on going on, which makes the colored African very, very interesting to process because he doesn't know why he goes through all these dances and why he feels so barbarous. This is what he thinks about you. This is what he thinks about you. There is nothing he should be able to offer you because everything that he offers you will be suspect. It will be suspect. Ron Hubert says in 1959, they took people who were totally dedicated to certain tribal procedures and said, you're free. And they said, free, free, free. Ah, you mean there's no police anymore? Boom, boom, boom. That's what he think about you. That's what he think about you. He said, soon as our people were free, we begin to kill each other. Then he said the Zulus is only outside the bars of a madhouse because there are no madhouses provided by his tribe. Primitive are far more abbreviated than civilized people. Their savageness, their unprogressiveness, their incidence of illness. So you talk about the Zulus, Shaka Zulu and all of them. Don't you dare watch Shaka Zulu. He done ordered it about you. He done ordered Shaka Zulu right about you. Don't you dare watch Shaka Zulu if you've been ordered. The church runs security checks. This is in South Africa. The church runs security check on members suspected of certain criminal behaviors. The Johannesburg security check is the roughest security check in Scientology and consists of a series of pointed questions. with Scientologists? Answer while on the e-meter. So they put you on this e-meter machine, and then they ask you these questions. In apartheid South Africa, in this case, use more than a lie detector than an auditing tool, including a list of crimes. Is engaging in an intimate relationship with a member of the colored race? That's one of the questions they ask. Included in the list of crimes. Now, I don't believe in the swirl myself, but this is his doctrine. I can break up Aziz Muhammad anything. Limited knowledge is not something that GS has. He giving you knowledge so you don't know the truth of the man. That's right. Where Aziz at? What do you want to know? Anybody can come have a conversation with me too. Just be respectful. But listen, have you ever slept with a member of the race of another color? Have you ever committed culpable homicide? They equate sleeping outside your race with homicide. Now, that might be a good one for NOI. Mike Jones said, religion is a heck of a drug, man. Yeah. Have you ever bombed anything? Have you ever murdered anyone? Have you ever kidnapped anyone? Good night. Have you ever slept with someone out your race? Good night. You can't come up in here. No, sir. Those are Ron Hubert's questions. You feel it? Those were Ron Hubert's questions. Hubbard appears to have thought the problem of apartheid was overstated. The problem of South Africa is different than the world thinks. There is no native problem. The native worker gets more than white workers do in England. The South African government is not a police state. It's easier on the people than the United States government. Y'all see that? Did y'all see that? Did y'all see this? Unfortunately, I got to share this now.
Offer it to them. So the criticism, well, you know, Mr. Hubbard was a racist. I don't know that. I don't know that. And I wouldn't care.
Hold up, brother. I love you, brother.
That. I don't know that. And I wouldn't care. You don't have a good understanding of racism.
Let me be fair and drop the maybe one of my mods can know where that video at. If one of my mods know where that, let me get the video. I want to drop the whole video up in there so won't nobody say that I'm just sound biting. I want everybody to go listen to the entire video. I'm going to pull up the entire video. See if I can find it. I'll find it. I'm going to put the link at the end of the show. I want everybody to look at the entire video. You know what I mean? I want everybody to look at the entire video. I'm not going to finish the clip. The clip is 7 minutes long. I'm not playing no 7-minute clip on here. I'm not playing a 7 to 10 minute clip on the show. I got a couple more slides to go, brother. But I'm going to put the link in here. I'm going to drop the link. Here is the link right here. Anybody can go see it. Cryptonomics just dropped the link. Anybody can go see it. Here's the link. Cryptonomics dropped the links. I didn't chop or screw anything. All I did was took clips that's relevant to my conversation. But there is the link right there. Can you moderators? Can y'all continue? Can y'all keep dropping the link? The video is 22 minutes. Moderators, please drop the link a few times so people can go and check it out. So they won't think that I'm just jigging something up. I'm only using clips relevant to my conversation. I can't play a 22-minute video. Come on, bro. You asking for too much. Now, Ron Hubert says that apartheid was overstated. I like Mashawn say, he said what he said. That's right. Let me play one more.
I found a tool that I know can help us. And I thank God for Mr. L. Ron Hubbard.
Our brother minister says he thanked God for Mr. L. Ron Hubbard. Brother, come on, brother. I mean, that's not my way of life, so it doesn't affect me. But you can't get mad because one comes back and review something that's online. That's all we're doing.
God for Mr. L. Ron Hubbard. And I thank God for his research and teaching.
You can go and watch the whole video. Jamila say he said it in the context that we are hearing. Anybody that ever heard this video would know I'm not remixing this. Please don't try to make me a remixer, because that's not what I'm doing. I'm not doing that. If I was remixing, why would I put the whole video thing down there? Anybody can go check it out. Go check it out and see if you feel any different. Somebody drop the link again. Go check it out and see if you feel any different. Leave a comment in the chat. You follow me? Leave a comment in the chat. Go check it out and see if you feel any different. This is what the brother said, our brother.
For Mr. L. Ron Hubbard. And I thank God for his research and teaching. He's gone on now. So if he was a racist, that went in the ground.
The minister said if he was a racist, that went in the ground. With all due respect, that which he left above ground is a result of his racist mind. Where he said apartheid. Let's go to the next one. The South African native is probably the one impossible person to entrain in the entire world. He's probably impossible by any human standards. You know who else was using Scientology? This comes out of an old newspaper. It's unnerving, Gentry said, how Manson is able to cast his spell. Manson is able to cast his spell. Let me pull up. Listen to what it said. Stretch it out. Once I met this girl in a bar who said she was a member. This is somebody reporting on Charles Manson. Once I met this girl in a bar who said she was a member of the family. This is during the time Charles Manson. She was playing with a knife and really into Charlie's rap. You know, his love talk mixed up with hippie Scientology. She really had Charlie down. I checked her out. She never had any personal contact with him. It was very scary. I got the feeling the thing might be contagious. Charlie Manson was also messing with the Theology. I'm just saying, not that that mean anything, but I'm just saying. I said he was messing with the Theology. He followed Wallace. Wrong. I never say he followed anyway. I say he was messing with the Theology. I don't know who he was following, but I know he was messing with the Theology. Real talk. He was messing with the Theology. So let me get down here. Yeah, I don't know who he was following. He was messing with that Theology. I'm just saying. I'm going to leave it right there, man. It's 12:39 on the East Coast. We've been here 2 hours. I'm going to leave it right there. GS, what is supposed to help us? We already know how to talk about each other. What is supposed to help us is rid yourself of lies, critical think, get with other critical thinkers and progressive people, and let's build our own. If you do not address the lies, we have to do the auditing ourselves, sis. Sis, we have to do the auditing ourselves. We don't need to be on this machine. We got to go deep in ourselves, ask ourselves, is this true? Does this enhance me? Or does it enhance somebody else? When we begin to address the lies that we have been told by our friends, our family, and those who we consider to be spiritual guides and leaders, then we begin to address the real problem. And the real problem is that we have left from being critical thinkers who built pyramids, who have built structures that last through the eons of time, to docile sheep. We have become docile sheep. We follow anybody who sounds good. And I'm not saying this about the minister. We follow anybody who's charismatic, anybody that gives us a feeling that we feel good. When in fact, what we need to be doing is being empowered and inspired to put some muscle on building something for us. No, I'm talking about the minister. He said Hubbard had something to help us. Well, for me, Yasmin, I just don't agree with that. I don't agree that after 2,000 years that Europeans, even if they had good intentions, I don't believe that from a spiritual perspective that Europeans have the ability to help us from a spiritual perspective, especially Ron Hubert. When you look at his life and his concepts of life, how can he have something to help us if it didn't help him? That doesn't make sense. If he has something to help us, then first it would help him. So people say, well, no, we use Dianetics. We don't mess with Scientology, but Dianetics is based on the principle of clearing you from these evil things that have been programmed in you. He said that every evil thought from past life in the present comes from Xenu, and it was programmed in you. And you must be, that's his whole theme. His whole theme has nothing to do with the concept of Islam. His whole theme has nothing to do with the concept of Christianity. His whole has nothing to do with African religion, has nothing to do with Arab religion. It has the concept that this planet Xenu, that you got something put in you, programmed in you, and you must get it out of you. So anybody like my brother from the NOI that was in here today, anybody that says that it helps people, well, guess what? AA help people. NA help people. Catholic charities help people. The same thing that they can do wrong can also do good. The same thing that do good can also do wrong. At the end of the day, you help you with the proper discipline, with the proper inspiration. You help you. Sometimes with the proper guidance. And I said sometimes with the proper guidance. Because even when you try to guide people into truth, they will fight you and they will resist you. So with the proper guidance, people will go away and they will turn back sometimes. So I'm just saying, you have the ability. You need proper information. You need proper information. But the information that you seek without is already within. This is why in the Holy Quran in Mecca, it says, bring to remembrance. Bring to remembrance. In the Holy Quran in Mecca, it talks about bring into remembrance. Bring into remembrance. In other words, you have a soul that is with all truth. And the only thing a true teacher can do is remind you when you had the knowledge and it was flourishing. To wake up. That's what wake up means. Like you sleep. In other words, you sleep, the information is there, but somebody has to inspire you in order to bring it out of you. I can't teach you anything that is not in you. I can only wake up that which is already in you. If we are a spirit and a part of God having this human experience, I need to arouse that spirit in you. See, the truth in you will recognize the truth in which we express, and you will say, well, wow, how did I go for that? Or you will resist it and go deeper into the abyss. And ultimately, you will die in your iniquity because you refuse to address and stand up and walk in raw truth. So that's how we wake up. We must wake up in the raw truth. We got to deny. This truth will make you deny your mama. It's like Jesus said, if my mama ain't right, this truth will make you deny your mama. It will make your mama mad at you. It will make your best friends mad at you. See, when you're really ready to wake up, there is no friends. When you're really ready to wake up, the only friends you have is truth. And those who are not walking the way of truth, then they can never be your true friend because they're subject to sell you out for anything. For anything. Only your true friend will tell you the truth that could possibly damage and destroy a friendship. Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches it's better to have enemies made by truth than friends made by flattery. Give me some friends. It is better to have enemies made by truth than friends that are made from flattery. Don't flatter me because I don't trust you when you flatter me. Don't stroke me. Don't make me feel good. Don't do none of that. Just tell me the raw truth so I can get right. I want to get right. And if you really want to get right, don't nobody else matter. My buddy don't matter. My spiritual teacher don't matter. My friend don't matter. Don't know prophet, don't know. If the prophet Noble Drew Ali turns out to be something that I cannot be comfortable with defending and standing on, then that goes out the window too. Because in reality, the prophets, the seers, the magi's, and every record that was sent down to us was only sent to bring out that which is in you. It wasn't sent to dogmatize you. It wasn't sent to enslave you. It wasn't sent to you to guide you around like a big old bull with a ring in the nose. It was sent to wake you up. And it's your job to wake the next person up. And then those who are woke, they come together and they build the new Jerusalem coming out of the heaven of the mind. And if you have to turn it into a Garden of Eden and put some flaming swords around it so the heathen don't get in, get the cherubim and the seraphim and put it around the Garden of Eden with some flaming swords, then you do what you do. But only the woke can walk with the woke. The blind cannot walk with the woke. The blind cannot walk with the woke. So this channel here, Moorish World TV, is about waking our people up that we can ultimately, and we might do it, and we might do it in a way that's fun. We might do it in a way that's got some music. We may do it in a way that people will call it trolling, antagonizing. Who cares? Thank you, sis. Appreciate you, Yasmin. Who cares if someone say I'm trolling? I don't care. They probably said Jesus was trolling the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They probably said Muhammad was trolling the Meccans and those in Medina. They probably said Moses was trolling Pharaoh. They probably said Moses was trolling the crazy Hebrews. Who cares what they say? As long as you understand why I'm here. As long as you understand why I'm here. And the you is one that is experiencing the great awakening. Like Sister Yasmin, she said she needed this tonight. As long as you hear it. Those who don't want to hear truth, they're not going to hear it anyway. So we have these conversations so we can get to this point. We can get to the point where we begin to question everything that we were told. Yeah. Yeah, we got crazy Hebrews. You know them crazy Hebrews, them crazy Moors? That's right. Moses had to chase them crazy Hebrews out there. He was trolling them. That's right. He probably chased some crazy Moors too. Absolutely. Absolutely. But they probably called Buddha a troll. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't about being a troll. It's really about assessing the information we were given. And every few years, at least, we should look back and say, hey, did I mislead myself? Hey, hold up. Am I still on the path? You know, in life, right? If you were a doctor, right? Every so often, you got to go and make sure that you're still on point. You got to go be refreshed. You know what I'm saying? But with spirituality or religion, nobody wants to go back and reassess and see if someone misled them. See, you might have brought me in on some truth, but along the way, you could have took me off the path. And because I love you so much, and because I rock with you so much, I don't even examine no more to see if I gotten off the path. But if you was a doctor, or if you was in a job, or if you was in a school, guess what they do? You got to have an assessment. You got to look back. You got to see if you're still on course. You got to see if you're still on course. Many of us don't see if we still on course because we fall in love with personality. Salvation is personal. Never fall in love with personality. Salvation is personal. And when I speak of salvation, I'm speaking of liberating your mind. Liberating your mind to your divine self of our ancestors. Liberate your mind. Always do inventory. Man, hold up. Why am I believing this? Why am I believing this? How is this helping me? I don't care how many people that it says it helped. Why am I believing this? Hold up. What is the core of my doctrine? When you study the teachings of Jesus and he talks about the head cornerstone, the head cornerstone should never be changed. In other words, your foundation in which you build yourself, it should be the same foundation in which you always build yourself. You should not change your head cornerstone. Anybody knows anything about building, all structures build on a 45 outward, up perpendicular. You follow what I'm saying? All structures, your house, your barn, your everything that's on the ground starts on a 45 degree and it starts with a head cornerstone. On that head cornerstone, you build everything. And when you build yourself, if you come into the Nation of Islam, if you come into the Moorish Science Temple of America, you look at what started your building. Why? What happened? What did you feel? And you build yourself from that. But you always reassess to make sure that you did not build on a funky foundation, that you did not build on a weird foundation. Because you always, if you don't build too high, you always can go back. and make sure that foundation is solid. So this is about building the temple of perfected man. Woman, this is what Morse World TV is. We might get into jokes. We might get into people want to talk crazy, but ultimately we're going to walk through and we're going to build ourselves because we're going to study ourselves and we're going to see, have we went wrong? We got to see, have we went wrong? Mama didn't know everything. And just because you change your trajectory from what mama taught you, don't mean that you hate mama. That don't mean that you beefing with mama. Mama, I've learned a little bit more today. Mama, I learned a little bit more today. Now, maybe, mama, let me express what I've learned and maybe it can help you on your journey. I've learned a little bit more today, mama. I still love you, baby, but I've learned a little bit more today. I've learned a little bit more today, and that's just what it is, family. I don't know if we're going to go live tomorrow or the next night. It depends on how I feel, but I got a bomb for you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Shout out to my brothers in the Nation of Islam. Assalamu alaikum. I love you dearly, but loving you will not stop me from expressing myself in the way that I think is important for our people to understand. This is not about the Nation of Islam in particular. This is about critical thinking. My presentation helps us to critically think. And we use this situation as an example to ask, have we been critically thinking? If I can get you to think, you can save yourself. You don't have to depend on an auditor. If I can get you to think, you can save yourself. You don't have to spend no money. You don't have to hold nobody's hand. If I can just get you to think, you can save yourself. Game over. Nobody profits off your oppression ever again. Let's go.
I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. You a friend of the Moors, then you a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those who speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you you wasn't black, proved it with straight facts. You tripping off trunks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. Family, see y'all tonight, 9:30. Let's go. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law